What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more hard trance, and we're back with another remix of Lab-4's Reformation II. Mentioned it before, this record is on Alien Tracks from 1998, so this is the DJ Oberon mix. I was going to say remix, but as I'm looking at it, it just calls it the DJ Oberon mix. DJ Oberon shows up on a few different labels from like the mid to late 90s. In particular, I think he's on some Chalkies tunes. But yeah, this mix is actually on the sort of professional mixtape that I made. I made a lot of mixtapes when I first started DJing. 98, I got like a 4-track recorder, like shortly after I got my turntables, so I made a lot of my own mixtapes. But then like a year later, a friend of mine got a DAT recorder, and so I eventually went over to his setup and recorded a mixtape that I then used for promotional purposes. And actually, like, the one party that I was sort of the proudest to play at was a party called Primal Trance, which there was a number of Primal Trances. They were put on this by this group called Neo Sapiens through parties in Southern California. They were themed around like trance and hard house and so on. So they kind of had like their own little flavor, and like I think psytrance too. But bottom line, I really enjoyed going to those parties, and so I started DJing. I was like, you know, that's the kind of party that I want to play at. And so I played at a few parties before that, but I eventually gave one of their promoters, this guy Philippe, a mixtape. And then he called me a few days later, and he's like, hey, yeah, we'd like to have you come play at our party. I can't really do his accent. I think he had like a French accent. But yeah, he hired me to play at one of their parties, at one of their Primal Trances, which was really cool. And then I remember when I called for the like hotline, because it was back in the day where you'd like go to a checkpoint and then you go to the party, like once you got the actual directions. But when I called the hotline, the background music was my mixtape. So it's like, hey. So anyway, the point of all that is that the DJ Oberon mix is on my original or my professional mixtape that I put out for promotional purposes back then, which I still have the like MP3s of the mixtape, so I'll put those up on my channel soon, so keep an eye out for that. Nevertheless, let's get to it. This is the DJ Oberon mix of Lab-4's Reformation II on Alien Tracks number 13. And this is the DJ Oberon mix. As I said, on my mixtape from back in the day. Still fresh as hell in 2022. Also, oh wait, I won't spoil it. But there's a surprise coming in the breakdown that unfortunately I don't think stays around as long as it should. When you're mixing into this from something else, and you'll see when I upload the tape that I recorded back then, this is such a great like tease. It's like a hint of what's coming in. And then just the bass line barrels into the tune. Like needles its way into the tune. Electrically shocks its way into the tune. Alright, so already that's an awesome element that you don't often hear in like a hard trance tune. Like legit, town square bells. And they're like constant and clangy, but it works. It's perfect. Cleans it up now though. Back to that just electrified, like grinding layer. Bing, bing, bing. Now it's just like constant. No more intermittent signal. So the way that mixes with the, which is based on the synth melody of the original, it's a great blend. And then this, where does this breakdown come from? and now some insane, like, clown shit coming in. Like, what? First time I heard this, I couldn't believe it. When I played this at a party, at I think the San Bernardino Masterdome, some of my friends who were also DJs were there, and there's one DJ friend named DJ DLF, this guy Danny Fisher. When that heavy, like, grinding, when that came in, I could hear him behind me, like, fuck yeah! It's like, alright bro, yeah. Like that, it drops, and then a 16 later it has sort of a like brief pause, roll, a hit of those bells, and now the tone shift melody of the original. My only lament, and I alluded to it at the beginning, is that we don't hear that insane clown sort of, you know, like demented, like horn, whatever that was. It's just in that like brief part in the breakdown. Excuse me. Those bells are awesome. It's such an unusual element, but it really works. Use a tune in certain mixes, and then like it's like when you hear an album and you just know the order of the tunes. There's a track that I very much expect to hear coming in now, and it's because that's what happened on my mixtape. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Again, on the way in and way out, that synth is great. It's a good tease coming in, and then it's a good sort of layered, you know, reminding people what is phasing out as whatever tune you're bringing in is, you know, coming more and more to the fore. Yeah, it's great. I really like it. And, you know, I was thinking when I was listening to that, I love the original, but it's perhaps true that the sheer pace of the original may have made me use it less. Again, I really do like the original a lot, but on my mixtape, I use the DJ Oberon mix here at parties, as I was remembering, like, while we were listening to that. I remembered I used the DJ Oberon mix a few times. I think maybe I used the original once at a party. I'm trying to remember. But again, I think part of the reason is this... this mix is a little more in the like standard range, and again, you can slow down or speed up to a tune to a certain degree with the pitch gauge, but you know, sometimes like when a tune's default speed is so fast, you kind of hear it that way, so then you maybe can really slow it down and make it work with some other tracks, but then it'll sound weird to your brain because it's so different from like the original default like speed that you heard it at. So yeah, I do think I probably use this one more ultimately than the original Reformation II. But either way, I think another reason I liked using this one a lot is just that breakdown. It's like hard, it's wicked, but it has that, again, sort of like demented horn kind of synth. I really do enjoy that. And like I said, the bells, the sort of, you know, like church tower bells, which, you wouldn't, like, in a melodic trance tune, a progressive trance tune from the 90s, I think it would be very like, yeah, you might expect to hear that, whatever. But a hard trance tune, I'd be less, or I'd be more surprised to hear it, but I really think it works well. So shout out to DJ Oberon. As I said, I think I have some of his tunes on Chalky's tunes, so we'll have to go back and check, and if I do, I'll do one of those pretty soon. Either way, let me know what you think. Let me know if you like this or the original better. There's also an OD404 mix for those hard house people out there. I like OD404. I don't think his remix is the greatest on the vinyl. I would put it like, in third place, if you will, but it's good. It's not bad at all. So maybe I'll come back and do that one at another point. Nevertheless, let me know what you think. See you next time. Peace.